He's the only contestant to win both the Teachers Tournament and the Tournament of Champions. Colby Burnett. He's the reigning Tournament of Champions winner with Jeopardy earnings that total over $400,000. Buzzy Cohen. Her 20 straight wins rank her #2 in the history of Jeopardy. Julia Collins. In 2004, his 74 wins and $2.5 million in earnings set the benchmark by which all others are measured. Ken Jennings. One of Jeopardy's most memorable contestants, he earned over $400,000 during his 12-day streak. Austin Rogers. With nearly $4.5 million in Jeopardy earnings, he's the winningest game show contestant in history. Brad Ratter.
Captains, friends, welcome back to Jeopardy. It's a great pleasure having you with us on this stage once again. Now, as I mentioned in my opening, this is very new for all of us and for you. I can tell you that the logistics of putting this tournament together for our production staff was really daunting. And I assume that the same was true of you. Ken, you have served the longest as a contestant on Jeopardy, and you are the senior member in this group of
Emphasis on senior.
Emphasis on senior. Thank you for that, Austin.
Extremely old.
So tell me about some of the challenges you faced in preparing for this tournament, you and your team.
You know, for me, a lot of it is just, usually I come out on Jeopardy and I feel like, I've done this for hours. I have more experience doing this than, you know, any person on the planet. And now we're all guinea pigs. You know, we're trying a new game for the first time. How do you play Jeopardy as a team? How do you draft players? How do you practice together? My team was spread out all over the country. It's tricky. We're learning a whole new game.
All right. For the benefit of our viewers and for our studio audience, I would like to point out that these 6 captains and 12 other players joined us on this stage in late September of last year for draft day. That's when they selected their teams. So they've had over 4.5 months in which to prepare for this event. But as Ken just pointed out, geographically speaking, that was a bit of a hardship, except for some of you. Austin.
Yeah, we were all, me, Leo, and Roger are all in the Northeast Corridor. So Leo could come down from Brown University. Roger could come up from Arlington, Virginia, to the only city that matters, New York. And we'd gather there, and we'd practice live and in person and just basically build esprit de corps. And it was super fun, just making friends and also training for, like Ken said, something brand new that we've never done before. Also, we were in New York, which is better than everywhere else.
All right, so bonding like that in person is very important. Julia, one of your team members is from the Chicago area where you reside. Did you guys get together?
We did. We got together several times, and it was a great way to get to know each other and really build our team bond. And so it was really, you know, a real positive to be able to do that.
I heard you went out to some trivia contests in the Chicago area. Were these nightclubs or bars?
It was some bar trivia, so it was.
Now, Buzzy, you traveled outside of the Southern California area to be with some of your teammates.
Yeah, we organized a training camp in Colorado. We wanted to train at altitude, you know, like the elite athletes that we are, and we all got together and holed up and, yeah, just put in a lot of work kind of halfway through our training period as a little bit of a, you know, kick the tires, see how we're all feeling, what we need work on, and all that stuff. It was really great.
Now, for the rest of you, were you able to use modern technology in order to communicate with each other? I mean, you can do that on your cell phones, on your computers, Brad?
Well, my team did a lot of emailing each other, so I just realized, like, wow, I hope we didn't get hacked. Otherwise, we could be in trouble. But I guess that's not too tech savvy, but I have an email on my phone.
Now, as I look at the 6 of you, and I think of the other 12 players, you're all soloists. You're used to performing on your own. Now you're a member of a trio. Now, when you made your first appearance as a contestant on Jeopardy, there was pressure on you. You didn't want to mess up in public in your first television appearance. So that made it tense for you. But now there's a different kind of tension. You don't want to mess up and hurt the other two people who are depending on you. Colby, how does that factor into your plans?
I mean, this is a team effort, but it's more like a relay race. So just like when I was playing by myself, I have to go out and I have to do the absolute best that I can. And I guess, luckily, I can say, hey, if I slip up a little bit, if I get outplayed, well, I have a very solid team backing me up. But I'm not going to rest on my laurels and feel like, you know, hey, if I screw up, these guys got me. Like, no, I'm going to get them.
Honestly, for me, I like that I don't have to be a control freak about it. Like, this is Zen Jeopardy for me, you know? Like, somebody else is going to be playing 2/3 of the time. I hope they do good.
Now, have any of you been surprised by the enthusiasm or the dedication to work, a work ethic, by your teammates?
Oh yeah, I don't have a work ethic. So encountering people that do is a real wake-up call for me. And my teammates have, like, they actually do things in real life. So it's really great having someone whip me into shape, because otherwise it'd be like, eh.
Now, a number of your teammates work in the business of creating trivia contests and quiz programs. Brad?
Yeah, both of my teammates actually are legitimate trivia professionals, which is part of why I picked them in the draft. But yeah, it's been really amazing to watch them work. I mean, they're very systematic in just going through everything, and it's really impressive.
But does that make it more difficult for them? Because as you guys know, when, say in the teachers tournament, you're up here competing and you have all of your students watching, that brings extra pressure. If you mess up, you're going to hear about it from the kids.
Yeah.
Now, if these people who create these quizzes mess up, that doesn't look good for their program.
Yeah, David runs the history and geography bee, so he's very interested in not getting any history or geography questions wrong.
Nowadays, we're all going to get yelled at if we do badly. That's what the internet is for, to yell at people on Jeopardy.
Good point.
Yeah.
All right, let's talk about strategy briefly. Did any of you discuss it with your teams? Colby?
Of course we did. So we sat down and it's basically a chess match. We figured out, ideally, or at least in our heads, where our opponents are going to be placing their best players so that they are most effective, and how we should do the same to counteract that. We looked at who had the strengths in final, and if you're not particularly good at final, you shouldn't really be playing final. If you're a killer on daily doubles, you should be playing double Jeopardy because, well, there are twice as many daily doubles in that section of the game. So we sat down, we figured out what we think our opponents are going to do, and then we came up with what we're going to do.
Well, that's one of the things that makes this tournament unique, because unlike all of the other tournaments in which you guys participated, you had 4.5 months to work on analyzing, as Colby just said, your opponents. Now, it's tough to be specific today because, one, you don't know what the categories are going to be, and two, you don't know who your opponents are going to be in a particular game. So does that worry you a little bit, Julia?
I think a lot of what makes Jeopardy fun is that surprise of what the categories are going to be. So that's not something that worries me, and I know my teammates have a lot of depth and know plenty of things that I know they know and plenty of things that I don't know they know. So I'm not worried about that. And there's no matchup that's going to be less or more exciting than any other. So I think we'd all love to play each and every one of the other players in this tournament.
Austin, you, Buzzy, and Colby got a great fan following, not only because you played extremely well, but because of your outgoing personalities. But now the three of you are captains. Do you feel, because of the responsibility, that you maybe have to tone it down a little and be the senior member of the troupe?
Yeah.
Why am I looking at Austin when I ask the question?
Yeah.
No.
I'll jump in. I play this game so that I can get money, and if you like it, and if you like the way I play, like, God bless. If you don't like the way that I play, here's what happens. Every 6 to 9 months, they have this test, and if you're really good at trivia, you can go play Jeopardy too. And if you can do that better than I can, please, please do.
That's the first job bless ever on Jeopardy, I think.
Yeah.
Now, all of you, except for Brad and Ken, made your appearances, your initial appearances on Jeopardy in this decade. You two go back almost 20 years. You must feel a little bit like Michael Corleone. I thought I was out of it, and they pulled me back in.
Well, I just hope my performance in this tournament is better than the entire Cats performance in Godfather 3, first of all. But yes, that's absolutely true. But as I'm sure Al Pacino would agree, it's always great to come back as well.
Okay. What's it going to mean to each one of you to win this particular tournament? Colby.
It's the feeling that you've outshone the best of the best. So there are no easy games. There's no rest for the weary. So you have to shine, and the teammates that you've chosen have to be amazing. Everything has to click. And I'm glad to be in a position that, like, yes, the money would be great, but the honor would be even greater in my eyes.
Okay. Buzzy, what about you?
I'm happy to be here playing the game that I love. My team has worked real hard, and we're going to win this, and I'm excited to finally put old Ken and Brad out to pasture.
Oh. Julia?
Well, it's such a thrill to win even one game in a regular gameplay.
And you won 20 of them.
And I won 20, and every time it was so exciting. But to win with my teammates who have worked so hard and are become such close friends would be extra special, and just to secure your place in that Jeopardy legacy. And, you know, dethrone Brad. That's the main thing.
Ken, are you ready to be put out to pasture?
I am not, and I don't think Brad is either. I would have thought that Jeopardy is a young person's game, but, you know, Brad and I pushing 40, still doing well.
I think
from different sides.
Yeah, I think we can just drop the mic on you whippersnappers.
It's been one of the great pleasures of my life to be associated with Jeopardy, which was always my favorite show, even as a kid. But it would be special to win as a team, to feel like I helped these younger players get to the top of the mountain. That'd be great.
Austin?
I mean, I'm happy that I look at who's up here and I look at who's out there, and I literally, except for Buzzy, feel like the weakest person in this whole thing. So I'm just happy to be in this group of this upper echelon of Jeopardy players, and hopefully I won't burn the place down.
All right. Brad?
If you follow me on Twitter, you know I'm a huge sports fan. In fact, if any Jeopardy fans follow me on Twitter, thank you for still following me, because I don't tweet about Jeopardy. But the team dynamic is very similar to sports, and that's what's so cool about it. So, you know, just the team dynamic and everybody playing a role and just doing their best and trying to support their teammates, that's what I think is really cool about this. And also, Buzzy's a fraud.
All righty then. I would love to continue.
I believe the phrase is, they hate me because they ain't me.
Good for you, Buzzy. Well, I would love to continue this conversation, but I know that our viewers really want to see you guys performing in the games. So I'm going to wish you all the best of luck.